Damn. Oh, damn. Hello, everyone. I have returned, and this week is kind of a fun topic that I'm actually quite excited to talk about. I feel like I say that every week, but this one's definitely inspired, more or less. So earlier this week, a friend of mine actually messaged me and is just like, hey, can I ask you a personal question? And the answer is usually always yes. I like when my friends pick my brain and inquire on things, right? So she says, how do you just basically change your life? Like, how do you have like the confidence to basically just make a plan and do something and just make major changes in your life? And like, especially with like moving, I do like to move around a lot. I'm very much okay with picking up my life and doing something different. So I thought this was a great like content topic idea because it's something that I think a lot of people can kind of feel lost about. And I guess I don't think about it too much because I'm a very determined person, and if I just want to make a change, I will kind of just make a plan and do it. Now, not every change is that simple, but I've had a lot of tools and help and reflection that have kind of allowed me to do those things. And a note on the confidence bit, you don't just happen upon confidence in any facet of life. It's built. And I would say it's built through something I like to call micro actions. And micro actions, they help build self-trust and they help you gain momentum, especially when something feels new and scary. So let's get into it. So a lot of the times people will talk about change and how ready they are for change and they just want something to change, but they get really hung up on the action portion of things, especially when they're like big and transformative type of changes. It can kind of just look like a whole mountain when you really just kind of need to look at it as like a staircase, and you just worry about the stair that's like right in front of you. On this channel specifically, I have talked about how I was in a abusive relationship and I basically picked up my life in broad daylight and decided to just start my life over back in Florida where my family is. That was a very scary situation because I didn't really feel comfortable or safe, I think rather is the word, to simply just break up with this person. But what conclusion I ended up basically coming to is that I was going to get out of there one way or another. And how was really just the question. And I even got into my head quite a bit and was just like, but his family all lives on the same street. I could get seen, somebody could notice. I need to lay low. But what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong, basically? And it was terrifying for me. And while I know this is a very drastic and dramatic example, it still kind of applies. So what I started with was what needs to happen in order for this change to occur. And that mostly includes just taking stock. That's the first thing. You need to take stock of what realistically needs to occur and what you want to occur, how you can do that, and what steps you can take to kind of bridge that gap. And there were many points in this whole thing where I got psyched out and was like, I don't know if I can do this. And that's to be expected with big changes as well, just because your nervous system is just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can do this. Like, we're kind of in over our head, man. But a lot of the times you have to check in with yourself and remind yourself that what you are doing is kind of for your betterment. So it's important to understand when your nervous system gets triggered, that's just kind of a form of protection. It's not anything to feel bad about. Overthinking, self-sabotage, that's just your mind and body trying to work together to protect you from something it feels like is dangerous. You know you're meant for more. So it's important to always check in with that. I think I want to use this Stranger Things palette that I've had for some time. I actually got it when Stranger Things 4 came out, but I think I've just really used it for like this one shade up here. It's like super dope, but I don't really use this palette very much, so let's go for it. I'm gonna start with this like purpley gray over here. It looks super cute. It's called Demogorgon. Lol. He does kind of have a purpley gray look to his skin, doesn't he? So another component to this is also redefining what it means to show up as well, and what it means to be taking those steps, right? Say hello to that bad boy right there. Oh, so annoying. So anyways, with showing up, it's not even necessarily about how much output you're doing, or maybe not even so much consistency. A lot of the big shifts happen just by making small promises to yourself and keeping them and actually doing them, even with like moving. If maybe the big thing is just finding a place to live, securing a place, then maybe your micro action is just spending 10 to 30 minutes a day looking at places and inquiring about availability and blah, 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 blah. I'm kind of pissed I haven't used this color sooner. It's so pretty. Whatever, dude, we're here. And then even say if maybe it's something health related, right? Even something like just walking for maybe 30 minutes a day, or a mile or 2 miles, whatever. Just starting at a baseline to basically just casting a vote for progress toward your future self. All of that jazz. And kind of circling back to nervous system reactions and kind of going into like a self-protective mode. This is a very important but kind of sneaky thing that kind of, I guess, occurs there, right? It's important to notice when these moments are occurring. When you get into thought loops, or maybe you're avoiding, or maybe like resistance is showing up, it's important to kind of flag it when it happens and kind of take note of kind of what your triggers are, like what triggers those things, and to kind of sit with that and like have some compassion for it, number one, just sit with it, and like no judgment or shame, because that's not fucking helpful, never has been. I'm just adding a little bit of like a burgundy to a little purpley gray. Journaling can also kind of be good for this. Meditation, if you're a meditation type of person, because the idea is you just want to like gain an awareness of what the resistance is, so that way you can work with it and even like move past it. When I say move past it, you can basically kind of ground yourself, because you know what's happening here in the moment. And with grounding yourself, that's just really some gentle movement, or deep breathing exercises are very helpful too. Just any kind of like sensory type of rituals, if that's a thing that you do. I really like aromatherapy, or sometimes like lighting some Palo Santo. Huge fan of weighted blankets. I mean, it looks like a mess right now, but I swear it's gonna come together. Because the key here is, it's like you want to let the nervous system know that it is safe. Like what is happening is not at all a threat to you, your life, your safety, yada yada. And now that I've removed the tape, it's cute, it's coming along. So once we've kind of moved through the resistance, we've grounded, we've let the body and the mind know that like there is no immediate threat, no danger with interfacing with this experience, then that's when you can kind of start or continue to take stock, right? So that basically means like assessing what is working and what isn't, what's being neglected, what needs more focus, identify any patterns or through lines, repeated challenges, and maybe any unmet needs. This sort of inventory, I kind of like to call your reality map. Whew, that is cute, I tell you what. So once you have an understanding of what needs to happen, what needs to change, and like where you're at in all of it, you then want to prioritize just one, and I mean one, aspect to start with. Another really important question to kind of ask yourself through this process is like, what do I actually want this part of my life to look like that you're adjusting for, essentially. Visualizing is kind of like really important in that regard, because that will kind of tell you what direction you're going in. This is cute, this is fun. Visualizing the end is kind of important for knowing that you're kind of in alignment, essentially. So once you've kind of zeroed in on basically what area that you're prioritizing, then you need to pick your micro action. And it needs to be specific, doable, meaningful, and you should give yourself a deadline too. And then once you've done it, you want to honor it, celebrate it, recognize it, however you see fit. Because every step is basically proving to yourself that you're capable of change and showing up for yourself and contributing to that confidence bank. Micro actions are also just really important because they kind of help marry together clarity and grounding and choice. The idea is to basically just cut out the overwhelm altogether and just kind of turn fear into genuine momentum and things that actually move the fucking needle. Do I look like an icy bitch? Do I? I hope so. Fuck. I mean, we're not done. Not quite. I just gotta do my brows and my lashes and then that will be good. The only other thing I will say about this whole micro actions and, you know, big transformation deal is like, it can get a lot more specific, but this is sort of just like a introductory crash course, just to, you know, kind of get the idea. And ideally, I would like to kind of do somewhat of like a series on this, or just kind of do something to sort of like just elaborate and talk on specific things with like just transformational things. Because I will say too, I'm still on a journey with this myself. I'm still learning how to make certain changes in my life, but I also forget that like I've done a lot. I've done a lot to where like people ask me like, how did you do that? And I don't know, it's just kind of easy to feel like you're still a rookie in this whole life thing and you have nothing to teach people and no wisdom to offer, but then you find out you do. So I don't know. I'm just here to basically share my perspective and my story and my insight, and hopefully it helps. Kind of just let me know if there's any other parts of this topic that you'd like me to expand on, go a little deeper with, and I'd be more than happy to do that. Give a girl content ideas. This is a vibe, like, honestly. One thing's for certain and two things for sure. I'm gonna glow to the gods. And I'm gonna do it proudly. Ugh. Well, hopefully you took some insight on how to kind of start getting the cogs turning when it comes to making transformational changes in your life. And if you have any other questions or things I could possibly elaborate on, please let me know and I'll get to talking about it, because I think it would be a great little series to have. Till next time, bye.